Welcome back to more Data Live. I really don't see things going well. Spirit of Origin out there causing trouble throughout time for many years, giving powers away willy-nilly to those that deserve it and those that don't, ruining lives and making some better, but ultimately not really. Somehow Shido is at the centre of it all. And we have killing your own dear friends under the guise of world protection and magical girl powers. Some parts of the show I see coming, others not so much. But at the end of the day, this being the last episode of this season, I wonder what the hell is going to be foretold or given out. So let's not wait any longer, right? I don't believe there's going to be any fanciful dates or anything. Let's see what is on the cards. Well, that's good, because I don't think that's a statement we could agree with, but that she was under the delusion that fighting back against spirits. The fact that she didn't ask about what these spirits were originally or how they came into being isn't exactly her fault. Ignorance isn't innocence, but misled under false pretenses and the likes. As long as she can get a little bit of justice by taking out the original Spirit of Origin. Why did that name just ring a bell to him? I am very bad with names of characters. I don't know if he's come across it before or not. And then everything that happens after she can be absolved of. But wouldn't she just... Well, no, if you killed the Spirit of Origin, sure. So sacrifice yourself to see if this works, just in case. Because even if it does work, what then? Because you go back to not knowing anything happened. This isn't really the preparing for battle I expected. They're going a bit above and beyond the whole need to seal the powers there. Very glad that wasn't in the small print for the others. But if it's a way of trying to show her resolve, so how much she's willing to go through in order to obtain the goal of undoing everything. There are probably better ways to go about it, ones that don't seem so contractual. But the way that it is being kind of led does make me think that the entire storyline to go back to before spirits are involved, and therefore maybe she'd have to get to know them all again without the Spirit of Origin being part of it. And one thing I've just thought of, obviously when time shenanigans happened and they forgot all about him, but there was bits of them reminded them of him, etc., etc. Or was it Mikoto's power. Eh. If you do go back in time and change things to before they actually happened, would people remember bits that haven't actually come to pass? Well, just what we want. A voyeur in the room, or dozens of them. Well, that's nice of them, but can you at least wait until she puts her clothes back on? They didn't said anything about his being or anything. Good that she had the forethought of actually picking up a blanket, but none of them thought to, do anything to evade the fate of being shot. Well, they're going to have some fun now. Are we going to have PTSD whenever they come across paper going forward? I'm guessing it took quite a lot out of her. It's all going according to plan. I mean, having a room full of yes men, or yes demon daughters, isn't exactly good for an eventful meeting. He doesn't need anyone. Just him and his multiple fictional daughters. The worst spirit? I'm guessing that, yeah, going back... Are they talking about Kurumi there, or, during the night when he was slashed a load and we didn't see what happened there? There's a mole. Okay. She's... Uh-huh. Well, and while she's asleep, this one can present itself. She's gone through a lot. I mean, constantly having to be on guard because of the spirit of origin and whatnot, while everything that she's gone through and fighting back against the entire system. Ah, okay. There we go. Yes, several times over in the process of this show. Or the carnage. One way of putting it, being shot, but probably wasn't even the first of it, but it was definitely a big part of it. Excuse me. Is he gonna... There we go. Flame burning bright. I don't remember this occurrence. But yeah, considering we know what she can do with the whole. Alright, let's. Oh. Don't know that needed to be 3D. Seemed not a difficult part to animate. So this is a battle which never occurred. She put a knife to a gunfight. Apparently, it does work. Effective. I'm not sure even a Flames of the Phoenix will help with that one. Does explain why she's so exhausted, to be fair. We collected this for you. Thought you might need it. Imagine having to actually see fragments of yourself from various times and what you've had to go through. Or yet to go through. Yeah, going a little. I'd be surprised if they hadn't. It would be amusing to see that the entirety of. Nice censorship there, blocking him out with herself. The entirety of this show, so many elements have gone wrong, and she's behind the scenes fixing it all. Was it the head that grew back or the body that grew back? Well, that begs a few questions. If time itself gets reversed, where does death lay in the remit? And what happens to the limitless power that is stored in him? But one hell of a whale. Could she feel breath or something? Aha. What has been reversed. I mean, a good way of telling an entire story like that, well, that hasn't happened yet. Bit of exposition. So it was restored. So he had won from the very beginning. What a bastard. He had inadvertently put a halt on so many of her plans. It's not something that they'd really go against, is it? But having an existence that's both ephemeral and everlasting, the hell does that do to one's mind? Just what is their resolve to get this done? And just like that, having a good night's sleep. Now, there we go. I mean, we could have got guessed that after a little bit of. Yeah, that's how Mana knew that. Hang on, that's where you were. Not that she had some knowledge due to the book or anything that special intelligence networks. No, she's seen it happen before. This is the one that I was like, hang on, how did he suddenly get out of that and just wake up in bed fine? I would hate to imagine how many times she'd had to kiss a corpse in the past few days, considering that statement. We're getting a Higurashi moment. 100 years in a time loop trying to avert the inadvertible. Well, where's the fun in that? And also, how many times has she had to have like this kind of conversation with him? Reveal what has happened. And it still failed and need to go back again. Don't go revealing things that is not her place to reveal. Reserve any pity or help. Putting on a strong front, sure, we'll go with that. But as far as characters go, I think Kurumi's self-army and battle through time itself is a really nice concept. And executed not poorly. So you stand before the tribunal of me to see what the punishment will be. And her hardship is their hardship, etc., etc. If anyone if anyone thinks ill, let them speak now. When we have Kurumi's mask slip and allow herself to be a little vulnerable, then he'll win. Can't let that happen. But from when you originally saw this character and how it plays out, I didn't expect it to be like more of a murderous tsundere than anything else. What, you've got one shot at this, and that's before any interjections. And is it warranted advice? And also, why would you be giving it right now? Providing information. So is this another grand reveal? So this Spirit of Origin has actually been helping out behind the scenes despite everything and being on her hit list. Ah. Firing line load. Ah. That's a reveal. Not exactly completely surprising. I now know why she needs to sleep so much. But there, from the beginning, providing help and... No, not exactly resisting anything there. And a confidant. And that conversation we had only a few episodes ago, or last episode, I can't actually remember when it happened. I think bits and pieces are falling into place. Always in the background, never the forefront, and yet and will this kind of conversation and hearing what has happened and how much he's now putting in the effort, is that going to sway ideas and plans? Also, considering we had that, like, nighttime attack, which he then just woke up, it wasn't the fact that we saw it be averted somewhere in the lines. It was Kurumi just stopped it happen before it happened. Stopped it happening before it happened. And we saw two different time lines, I guess. And considering 204, was it? Attempts have been made. What have we and what haven't we seen? And has we always been following the same one? But being like a pivotal advisor and help, now being that crux. Why? I don't know if everything is more understandable and easier to get now that certain revelations have been made apparent, knowing that, yeah, bits and pieces of what we've seen weren't actually, how it came to pass, because, well, we got some timey-wimey wibbly-wobbly bullshit, Kurumi going back and changing it for us before it happened, so we got no reliable narrator in a sense. I'm fine with that. That kind of works out. It means not entirely sure what the characters themselves have actually gone through, but most of the process of how we got there, that remains. But Rene being the or at least appearing to be, the Spirit of Origin. I mean, we knew there was going to be some sort of reveal, considering, that conversation that we had before. Is that, why are you now bringing up this character and their backstory, and why are we spending light on this? Then, okay, now makes sense. Everything they're doing is for whatever it was she said. Was there, someone else that she loved? Was that it? If so, going through and giving spirits powers in order to stop whatever, or to retry or whatever, and it seems as though, sure, disasters and whatnot inbound and they're forced to happen, like with Kurumi killing her friend, although it didn't need to happen that way. But if she kind of sat down and told us, you know what, I'm trying to give people these spirit powers, it won't go well, there will be those that can't handle it, and, sorry about that. But at the end of the day, they can avert or change or do something overall. Maybe we could have avoided a lot of fighting. Some reassurance that with Kurumi's time warpy powers, it can be reset. Don't need to spend a whole lot of energy and time trying to fight back. Then again, that's me just assuming that this Renee side has got some sort of decent intentions. They're constantly being a forward in DM's side and a source of information and informant for Kurumi and whatnot along the way. Interesting double play. There was a mole amongst them the entire time. We just didn't think it would be so close. But also, for her to be there, keep constant check and a constant eye over the spirits, at least those that have been contained. That makes sense. I gave you that power, let's make sure how you're getting on and dealing with it, getting on in this world. I do wonder how this will change anything. With Kurumi now knowing that, hang on a second, you've coated yourself in this guy so that we can't see who you are, but we know. Can she exactly just be like, let me hop on over to Shido and reveal her revelation? And how would that actually help? Things have really, been not kind for most of them, but fallen onto Shido's plate quite heavily. Not only is he having to fight back against the world, stop spacequakes, which seems to really, the idea of spacequakes has just kind of been lost, hasn't it? It's not really an issue. No of the citizens are kind of scrambling to shelters and try not to be wiped out in a big blast. So what is that side about? Have I missed something important, or am I just not understanding how spacequakes come into the point? If the Spirit of Origin is going around giving people a bunch of spirit powers, some that they can't control and therefore go a little haywire, but those that can control it being called out of a deep sleep or something, that was like, what was it fucking Tolkien was talking about when appearing in this world, therefore spacequakes. What has that got to do with anything? Was the lore behind it changed and it became a bit more what it is now? Someone needs to correct me, because I am horribly lost in my own source. But as far as what I believe to be the last episode of this season, if I'm wrong there, I've somehow not downloaded a load of them. But to cap off on reveal, haha, we've got the Spirit of Origin out for you. Ah, shit. Yeah, that's one way of handling it. But as far as, like, main antagonists and whatnot go, Isaac being out there raising his little demon daughter army really hasn't done much. It's like, always there, head of DEM, this evil figure, girl, we gotta look out for him. And now he's got this amazing power. Oh god, he's got the book, he knows what to do, he can create things, and no, he's raising an army of people who can just appear out of pages out of nowhere. Doing nothing. Just now sat in the background being this, yep, I'm still here, remember. Hello? A bit of spotlight, please? No? Everyone's focusing elsewhere? Alright. I'll just contend with being a shady businessman for a bit. The fact that I was he is kind of relegated to the background is somewhat funny to me, especially with Elliot kicking his ass. And I definitely need to see more of that guy. And him, Rene, and how it all comes back to Shido is a cross web of mysteries I would like to fill out. If I've missed a lot, or if I'm overlooking something, or if I've got a whole shit ton wrong and I'm theory crafting over bollocks, let me know. Leave a like and a comment down below if you've enjoyed this episode, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. If you want to make sure not to miss out, just in case, because YouTube isn't exactly the best at it, consider joining onto my Patreon as well, because any notifications, votes and polls, they'll come up there. But for now, definitely take care of yourselves, because I want to see you for the next one. I need to thank each and every one of my patrons who are Sal, HSTR, Guado, Kite, Reds Racer, Ultra Pouring, Wolfie Sensei, Zoog, and everyone else. For they have probably gone through hell and back just trying to keep my channel above water, and without any of them, I don't think we'd make it. And if you would also like to continue making sure we can watch anime, consider joining on as well, and we won't have to fight back against some spiritual beast of unknown proportion. Just YouTube and its algorithm.